So everybody these days wants to know what are the schools like in San Diego, and more specifically, people want to know what are the best schools in San Diego. Well, that's exactly what I'm going to do for you guys, is break down the top 10 schools here in San Diego, and I'm also going to go over the home prices on what you can expect in some of these areas, along with what life is actually like living in some of these areas. So let's go ahead and get after it now. Welcome back. If this is your first time here and you'd like to know more about San Diego real estate and life here in San Diego, make sure you tap that subscribe button below. My name is Nick, and you guys are reaching out all the time, and we absolutely love helping you out. So if you're thinking about making a move in a week, a month, a year, make sure you shoot us a text, shoot us an email, or just straight up give us a call so we can help you save a lot of time and just help you make a smooth move right here to San Diego. Now, it seems like, well, actually, it doesn't seem like it. I know for families and parents, schools are a major concern, and San Diego County is a very big place with a ton of different schools and a ton of different school districts. So there is a website called niche.com. I guess some people call it niche. Is it niche? Is it niche? Who knows? We'll call it niche.com. They actually come out with a list every single year of their top 10 picks for the best school districts in certain cities. So this time we're going to cover it, and we're going to look at San Diego, and it's always cool to see who comes out on top. It's usually the same every year. Some people, some cities get a different rating every year, but it's really exciting to see. But let me know down below if you think this list is absolute trash or if you agree with it. Coming in at number 10 is going to be the Bonsall Unified School District, and keep in mind the name is Bonsall, not Bonsall. I've heard that a few times now. The more you know. But anyways, Bonsall Unified School District is actually going to serve, like the name says, Bonsall and some of the southern regions of Fallbrook over there. And I can't stress this enough, is when you're looking with your agent or your realtor, make sure they're putting the Unified School District that you want to be in into your search criteria. Very important. Now, you can see by looking at the ratings that the overall grade is going to be a B+ over here for Bonsall. You can see some of the subcategories: B+ for academics, B for teachers. We got some C's for sports, clubs, and activities. And you get a B- for food, which is really interesting to hear kids might be rating their food in the schools. But what is Bonsall living like? Well, it's completely different than a lot of other areas here in San Diego. And what I mean by that, it is very rural. It's very country living out there, meaning you're not very close to shopping. You're gonna have quite a bit of a drive if you wanna go to the grocery store or the local market. But the pros of that is you are on bigger lots. Your neighbors aren't right next to you. You have a ton of beautiful custom homes, and it's just more of a country living, like I said. Now, prices out here, if you're looking to buy a home, can be anywhere from starting at about $450K for a smaller condo, if you're okay with that. But once you start looking for a detached home, if you're dead set on that, anywhere from about $700,000 all the way up to about $7 million. So you can find some homes in that wide range over there in Bonsall. Next up at number 9 is going to be the Vista Unified School District, which is going to be located in North County, San Diego, actually just south of Bonsall, which we just spoke about. But Vista Unified School District is going to cover exactly what it says, all of the Vista zip codes. Now, you can see that overall it got a rating of a B+, and you can see some of these other ratings got a B for pretty much everything. B+ for teachers, B- for sports, A for college prep, A- for diversity. So some really good ratings there. And also Vista, really, if you don't really know much about Vista, it's a pretty darn special place. It has one of my favorite vibes in San Diego, because you do have a little bit of a country feel, kind of like a small town feel, and all within being about 30 minutes from the beach. So that's kind of the beauty of this area. You're gonna have windy roads, no sidewalks, but then again, you're gonna have some other neighborhoods where you'll have some newer construction and you'll have sidewalks and more infrastructure and things like that. So it just depends on your taste. But the beauty of it is the price point. The price point over here in Vista is very fair still. You can find condos starting at about $450,000 as well, but your single family or detached options will really start opening up about $700,000, maybe $800,000, and then homes on the high side will go well up to about $2 million here in Vista. Number 8 is going to be the Sweetwater Union High School District, and this school district is only going to cover high schools and middle schools in this rating. So everything from about 6th grade all the way up to about 12th. And it serves a very big community. Well, I should say a lot of communities. It's going to cover everything from pretty much Chula Vista to Otay Ranch. You're going to have Imperial Beach, San Ysidro, and National City, all within this school district. And you can see by the overall rating it got was an A-. You got a B+ for academics, B+ for teachers, B's for clubs and activities. And you can see it got a C for food, which I find kind of funny. Maybe the kids don't like what they're serving nowadays in these schools. But overall, over here in these communities in this school district, you can really expect to have a lot of diversity. You're going to have an abundance of things to do. The food options are definitely going to drive you nuts down here because you have so many different options. And also a great thing is the location because you're not too far from downtown San Diego and the airport if you have to commute or go see family pretty often. Now, the biggest highlight is going to be you have a ton of new construction communities in areas like Otay Ranch and Chula Vista. So make sure you keep that on your list. Now, as far as prices go, you can expect pretty much anything from about $450,000 for condos and townhomes going all the way up to about $5 million. So most of your detached options, like I always like to say, are going to start right at about $650,000 over here in this school district area. Number 7 is going to hands down be the biggest school district here in San Diego, and that's because it is known as the San Diego Unified School District, and it almost serves so many communities that there's just too many to list. But when you're looking at the map, anything west of Interstate 125 all the way to the coast to Point Loma and La Jolla, and anything north of the 54 all the way up to about Carmel Valley is going to be considered the San Diego Unified School District. And you can see the overall rating, it got a really good high rating right here at an A-. You got B+ for academics, A- for teachers, B- for clubs and activities, and it looks like you got a couple C's in between. Again, I guess I'm really looking to find that A rating for food, but we'll probably have one coming up here. But really, there's so much diversity within all of these communities on that map that's shown right there. So really, you have some very expensive zip codes known as La Jolla, you have Point Loma, and really have a ton of different architecture in these areas too. So depending on your style and your budget, you're going to have plenty of options all the way up to about $10 million. And on the low side, there's condos available for about the high 400,000s. But your options for detached in these areas are really going to start to open up at about $900,000. Coming in at number 6 is going to be the Grossmont Union High School District. This is another one that just covers high schools and middle schools. And this time we're actually going to move over to East County because that's where a lot of the communities that it serves is, and it covers pretty much everything from Spring Valley to Rancho San Diego, Santee, Alpine, La Mesa, El Cajon, and Lakeside. So quite a bit of communities over there. And when we look at the overall rating, you can see that it got an A-. You got your typical B+ for academics, A for teachers, B for clubs and activities, and you also finally got a B+ for food. So that's great to see. But overall, I mean, there's a lot of diversity when it comes to communities over here. I'd say the biggest draw for people is not only the school district, but the affordability over here. If you want a detached home, your options are gonna really start at about $650,000. So a lot less than a lot of the other communities that we spoke about. Condos, same thing, about $450,000. And homes can really sell over here for up to about $2 million because you have some really great neighborhoods like Mount Helix where you have some really cool architecture, very sought after. So that's just something to expect over in this school district. Now we're about halfway through the list, and coming in at number 5 is going to be the San Marcos Unified School District, which is located in North County, San Diego, and it's going to cover the entire city of San Marcos along with a few communities on the east side of Carlsbad. This is why it's so important that you have your realtor or your agent put your desired school district in your search criteria. Make sure that happens. Can't stress it enough, obviously. Now you can see that overall San Marcos got a rating of an A. Pretty much across the board it got an A. You got a couple B's on there, an A-, an A+. So overall that looks really good. And to me, San Marcos is the best bang for your buck when it comes to schools because you have a ton of great communities. You're going to have some newer communities. A lot of construction was done in the early 2000s. You have master plan communities, if I didn't already mention that. And you also have some infrastructure, right? You have shopping that's all going to be really close. You have restaurants, grocery stores, all that stuff. And the best part is you are only about 30 minutes away from having a really, really awesome beach day. So that's a huge bonus. But when you're looking for houses over here, the average price point is going to be about $1 million nowadays, but you can find condos and townhomes starting at about $500,000, and then some really good detached options will start opening up at about $800,000, maybe $900,000. So far, this list is spot on, and we're moving on to number 4 now, and this one's actually going to be right next door to San Marcos, and it's going to be the Carlsbad Unified School District. Now, this one is a little tricky because Carlsbad actually will feed into an additional 2 school districts. If you're on the south side, it'll feed into the San Dieguito School District, and if you're on the east end of Carlsbad, it'll feed into San Marcos. So a little bit more tricky in this area, but overall, you can see it got an A+ for the niche grade, and another one with A's all across the board, and you have 1 B on there. So this is a very sought after community, all for this school district for the most part. And what makes this place so special is you have just such a crazy amount of activities. I mean, the lifestyle, you have so many options for things to do. You can go to the beach, you can surf, you can hike trails, outdoor sports year round, farmers markets, restaurants. I mean, the list literally goes on and on. Now, for prices over here, you're definitely gonna wanna bring a bigger checkbook because you can find, if you're okay with a 1, maybe 2-bedroom condo, it's gonna start at about $475,000. But if you want a detached home, you're really gonna have 0 options till you bring about $1.2 million to the table. And even then, you're not gonna have many options. So just keep that in mind when you're looking in Carlsbad. And here we are finally to the top 3 school districts. And this time we're gonna head right back south to an area known as the Coronado School District. And if you're not too familiar with where Coronado is, it's right outside of downtown San Diego. And like the name says, this school district is only going to serve Coronado. Now you can see that overall it has a rating of A+, and once again, A's all across the board. You have 1 B on there. But really what makes this area so special, if you've never been over here, it almost feels like you're on an island, right? You can really only access it from the Coronado Bridge or from the south coming up on the Silver Strand. But it's got quite the vibe over here because it literally feels like an island and you're surrounded by beaches. There's a good amount of stuff to do. You have some really glorious homes. But with that being said, you definitely want to bring a bigger checkbook over here because you won't even find anything unless you have about $800,000. And even then, it's going to be a 1-bedroom, maybe a 2-bedroom, 1 bath if you're lucky. But your options will really start to open up at about $1.4 million and can easily go up to about $10 million. Now for number 2, we're going to head over to the Poway Unified School District. And again, this is going to be another pretty big school district that covers a big amount of communities, and it really covers a small section of Scripps Ranch. You have Poway, Rancho Penasquitos, Sabre Springs, Carmel Mountain Ranch, Santa Luz, Del Sur, Forest Ranch, and Rancho Bernardo. Whew, that's a good amount of communities, like I said. Now, the overall rating here is going to be an A+, and you got an A+ for pretty much, we got about 4 things on there that have an A+. I know sports, this is gonna be one of the best school districts if you have kids that are really into sports. So just keep that in mind. I know all their teams over there are really, really good. But this is gonna be an area that has so much diversity when it comes to neighborhoods. I mean, you have some really great master plan communities that I named, Forest Ranch, Del Sur. You have some really expensive areas like Santa Luz, very private. But you also have Rancho Penasquitos, which is pretty affordable, and parts of Poway. So it's just an area that you need to keep in mind that is going to be very highly sought after. I mean, you have people moving from all over the country just to be right here in this school district. So as far as prices go, I mean, they're gonna vary, like I said, because you have so many different communities. But on the low side, you can really expect to pay about $500,000, but homes will really go well up to about $8 million. But on average, expect to pay somewhere right around $1 million, maybe 1.1. And finally, coming in at number 1, I'm gonna need a drum roll for this, please, is going to be the San Dieguito Union High School District. So again, this is gonna have middle schools, high schools, but this is gonna serve quite a bit of cities. It's gonna be some higher end cities. As you see, you're gonna have Carmel Valley, you're gonna have Rancho Santa Fe, Del Mar, Solana Beach, Encinitas, and some of the southern parts of Carlsbad. And you can see overall it has a rating of an A+. You have about 4 A+ in some of those categories, a couple more A's, 2 B+, and a B. Now, overall, when I think of all of these areas, or you drive around, if you know these areas, this is literally San Diego living at its finest. This is like the epitome of what people want and what people dream of when they come down here. And you have some gorgeous estates. You have a ton of activities. You have some really nice beaches and just an endless amount of things to do. So it's just an area or areas that you should really keep in mind. And the thing with this is you're going to have to bring a bigger budget, because I named some expensive areas like Rancho Santa Fe, but overall your prices are going to vary about $550,000 for a condo, maybe a 1-bedroom or maybe a 2-bedroom if you're lucky, going up to well into the $20 million price range. But overall, realistically, if you want a detached home, you're going to be right above $1 million, probably about 1.2. So just keep that in mind, and hopefully this list made a lot of sense. You have a lot better understanding of good schools for your kiddos. Now you can kind of gauge where you want to be. You got some budget in mind. So feel free to reach out anytime. That's what me and my team are here for, and we'd love to be a resource and just help you find the right neighborhood for you and your family. With that being said, info is down below, and I will see you guys in the next one.